They abandoned me without hesitation, leaving me at the gates of this very mansion, crying and begging them to turn back. But they never did. To them, I was an inconvenience, a burden that didn't fit into their lavish lifestyle. My parents, William and Victoria, were obsessed with luxury, status, and wealth. A child didn't belong in their perfect world. So, without remorse, they discarded me like trash, sending me away to an orphanage while they indulged in their extravagant lives, hosting grand parties, traveling the world, and bathing in riches. I was nothing more than a stain they wanted to erase, but fate had other plans. The years that followed were brutal. I was tossed into a cruel world where kindness was rare and survival was a daily battle. I spent nights starving, days fighting, and years learning the harsh truths of life. No warm beds, no loving arms, just a cold, merciless existence. But I refused to stay weak. Pain became my fuel, and hatred became my motivation. I started from the bottom, doing whatever it took to survive. I learned to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast anyone who stood in my way. With every betrayal I faced, I grew stronger. With every hardship, I became sharper. And soon, I stopped surviving, I started thriving. I built myself from nothing, from the slums to the streets, from the streets to power. I found mentors, I learned the game, and I played it better than anyone else. I took risks, made sacrifices, and climbed my way to the top. And when I finally stood at the peak of success, with more wealth and influence than I had ever dreamed of, I turned my attention to the people who had left me behind. William and Victoria, once untouchable, once so far out of my reach, were now right within my grasp. So I returned, not as the helpless child they had abandoned, but as the man they never saw coming. The moment I stepped through the doors of their grand estate, I saw it, the flicker of recognition, the horror in their eyes. They had spent years forgetting me, but now, faced with the son they threw away, they realized the past wasn't done with them. I sat at their table, watching them squirm as I made my presence known. They stammered, trying to fake concern, acting as if they regretted their decision. But I wasn't here for apologies. I wasn't here for love. I was here for justice. And justice came swiftly. Within weeks, their empire collapsed. Their businesses crumbled under the weight of lawsuits, scandals, and betrayals I had orchestrated. Their bank accounts, once overflowing, were frozen, drained, seized. Their luxurious cars, their designer clothes, their priceless jewelry, all repossessed, sold to pay debts they never saw coming. The people they once called friends abandoned them, unwilling to associate with failures. The high society circles they once ruled cast them out, treating them like the nobodies they had made me. I watched them struggle, watched them beg, watched the desperation in their once proud eyes. Their mansion, my childhood home, was the last to go, and on the day it was auctioned off, I stood outside, watching them clutching each other, lost and broken. The man who once called himself my father, now nothing but a shadow of his former self. The woman who birthed me, once so glamorous, now shivering in disgrace. They turned to me, their last hope, pleading for mercy, but mercy was never something they taught me. I stepped closer, looking them in the eyes for the last time. My voice was calm, controlled, devoid of sympathy. This is what abandonment feels like. Then, without another word, I turned and walked away, never looking back, just as they never did. Because revenge isn't always about blood. Sometimes, it's about taking everything until they have nothing left but regret.